We just joined a $30,000 coaching program, and we will share with you what that is, why we decided to do it, and what some of the lessons are that we expect to learn and that will be relevant for you. If you're new to the show, I'm Riley. This is Ped. We both built six-figure coaching and consulting businesses, and we now co-founded Leverage Accelerator. You've worked for Netflix, Red Bull, Amazon, Google. I've worked for founders, authors, speakers across different spaces. And we are now going to share some of the behind the scenes lessons with you. So welcome to the show. Let's dig in.
You said that we were going to share what we're doing. It's a very expensive program that we decided to do. And just so that everyone knows, this just happened. Like we were just accepted on this program, I don't know, what, an hour ago
This
before?
morning.
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah.
Well, this morning for you, my afternoon.
Yeah. Today,
I was with my son, his 8-month-old son, looking after him while my wife was taking a coaching call. And I got your WhatsApp message saying, we got onto the Black Belt program, which is a Takimura program. For those of you that don't know Takimura, he's like the coach behind the big coaches in the world. There's a lot of well-known names that you might have heard of. People like Ali Abdal, he's a current client of his. We know that because neither of them are uncomfortable about sharing who is working with who. Part of it is us being really happy to share that we're also getting support to build our own business whilst we help other people build their businesses. There's something that you said a while ago. We want to be the kind of clients that we want to attract.
Yeah, I think I've heard you first say this. Is like, be the client that you want to have, right? Something like that.
We influence each other in many ways. Who said what? We don't know.
So that's kind of what Black Belt is, the name of the program, and the person who created Takimura. And yeah, Ali Abdal, Dan Martell. I don't want to oust people. I know of others that I maybe haven't publicly shared, but I don't know. I think for us, so getting into the why we're doing this, and I think this is relevant for people too. I think some people we've met, Ped, have been, and to be fair, I used to be one of these people, have been weird about publicly sharing like when they ask for help, basically, or when they received help. But for me personally, I feel like that was very small-minded of me because it kind of locks you into this like scarcity mindset. It's small thinking. I think it is small thinking to think that you are so big and important that no one else in the world, like you don't want to
admit you need help.
Yeah, everyone needs help. No one has gotten to where they are, even like the self-made people, self-made millionaires, all those stories, like for sure, there have been people who have been influential and supportive throughout their lives in different ways, shapes and forms. So I just think, A, that's just the truth. So why not just share the truth? And then B, I actually think that if you associate yourself with really smart, successful, powerful, whatever people, I actually think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I don't, maybe this is a stain on my previous reputation. I'll just speak for myself of like, I wasn't big enough, smart enough, successful enough, all those things that where people wanted to associate themselves with me. But I have had lots of referrals in the past, so I don't think that's the case. So I think it's really just that mindset thing. So I think number one is just reinforcing that, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, is that it's the growth mindset. It's like, I want to continue to learn. And I think practically speaking, I'll just keep going here.
Yeah.
For our clients, because we help them build their businesses, we help them systemize and scale. Scale is a very weighty word. It means a lot of things to different people, but we help them grow. And I want to keep learning. Like we've shared as much, I think, as we can share based on our past experience, 30 years combined.
Maybe
could have
more.
been compressed, maybe if we had invested in these kinds of things sooner. But that's the thing is like, I want to keep learning so that I can keep growing, so that I can keep sharing those lessons and paying it forward. And in a lot of respects, like I think of myself as like a teacher. And so a teacher that never learns anything new and is stuck. I mean, could you imagine that's like, I don't know, you're stuck on using a rotary phone. You never bother to learn how to use a smartphone. It's like if you're a communications teacher, you're going to be out of date.
Yeah. So, well, speaking as a teacher, someone who's a qualified teacher back in the day, there's as with the many careers that I've had, there's something that you know about the growth mindset. It's about recognizing that we need to put effort and practice into developing ourselves. And where does that knowledge come from? Now, we can absolutely go and find that knowledge from the internet, from books. There's no end of sources. AI, people, the number of people that say, oh, AI helped me create a great marketing plan. It's like, yep, absolutely. There are these tools that can help you learn stuff. And yet, there's something very powerful when you get to work with people that have solved the problems that you're trying to solve for yourself, but are way ahead of you because they get to share their experience, the nuances around what it is that, or the blind spots that you might have in implementing or executing something in the same way that we help our clients. So again, we have solved many problems for our own businesses to get to six figures. And that's what we share with our clients. And so there's stuff that we know that we are continuing to improve in our business and for our clients' business. And we want to take it to the next level, right? It's
Yeah, and not to put numbers to it, but it's just easier to explain sometimes. But like, we currently aren't a seven-figure business.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm gonna say no. Like, it's not like I don't want to make more money, but for me, it's not even really about that. It's really just it's almost like a measurement of like the
Mhm.
impact, the scale, the efficiency, those kinds of things. So, in the life that it can support behind the business.
Yeah.
So I'll put it this way. We've experimented, as maybe you've heard on the show, if you want to go back and dig through past episodes, with so many different things,
Yes.
different strategies. And some of them have worked better than others. But what we recognize is that we kept running into these certain bottlenecks. And sometimes we'd solve one, but then a different one would pop up. It's almost like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
You got this one, and it's like this one pops up. So then you solve that one, but then this one popped up again. It's like, oh man. And this goes to the learning from other people and solving it faster. And why solve a problem if it's already been solved? Why not just like buy the
Yeah.
solution? To me, I think about that of like the seven figure plus kind of territory. And by the way, if people don't know what that is, just go like type Google mindset or yeah, I think it's literally just called Mindset by Carol Dweck.
Correct. Yeah.
That's like where it originated from. Just go read up on that. Promise it's worth your time. It's been out for decades at this point. So I think it's just, I don't want to call it a shortcut either. It's kind of like I always use fitness. I'm pointing to my weights if people can't see it over here, or if you're just listening. It's like if you want to continue to grow or get stronger, the weights don't get any lighter. You have to get strong. Like you have to keep finding heavier weights. I don't know how else to
Yes.
explain. Like you need harder things. And so if we're going to continue to face harder things in order to grow,
Yeah.
we're going to keep putting ourselves in these new environments and leveling up and challenging ourselves in these ways.
One thing that we often talk about with our clients, or actually with many other people, it doesn't have to be with our clients, we use the car and gear analogy. If you've listened to this podcast long enough, you would have heard us probably mention this a good handful of times over the last year or so. I'd say we've been grinding, trying to get from, I don't know, like like
Third gear
third
to
gear to
fourth
fourth
gear,
gear. I don't know,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Third gear to fourth gear. Because that's the experiments that we've made. And it's not to say that, but I think what I'm trying to get to is like, why are we doing this now? Because there's been times in the past that both of us have invested in quite significant amount of money in our own personal
Yeah.
and
Five
professional
figure.
development.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And when we got together to work on Leverage Accelerator and then ultimately Network and Sell version 2, because you had a version 1 before, which is a different conversation altogether. But we had learned enough and we're implementing those learnings and we were humming along, right? And we had the confidence that we are intelligent people who can experiment away and try and crack that kind of third to fourth gear shift. And I think we, like you said, we'd get into the fourth gear, but then somehow the gears would slip back to there was something, a consistency that we couldn't get to. And if we're going to eat our own medicine, or what we tell our clients, or what we tell our prospective clients is, well, we're here to help you get to where you want to be quicker. We're here to help to give you guidance. It's not that you couldn't figure it out on your own. You probably could, in the same way that we probably could have figured out all these lessons that we want to learn by ourselves. I have 100% confidence in that. And here's the thing, I'm really excited about how quickly we can go through that experiment, learning, and iteration cycle, given what we've already tried, given the trust and confidence that we have in Taki, and the what
His team. Yeah.
the people that we're going to be surrounding ourselves with. So maybe that's a good segue to talk about what we're hoping to learn from this program.
Yeah. So, I mean, to rattle some off, I mean, there's some new strategies that we are aware of that we would like to be able to implement. I mean, I think one of them is, I think I can just name this, is we've taught people and developed a process around that's worked pretty well for us over the years, basically around sales calls, I'll just say. So talking to live prospective clients, and then they become clients afterwards. That's sort of like the simplest way I can break it down. I think one of the things that we'd like to learn about from this Black Belt program is how to do more of the selling up front. And what I mean by that is there's different ways that you can do that as far as I'm aware at this point. There's different market. I mean, you can do it through ads, you can do it through content, or just like a documentation, it could be a landing page, it could be a Google Doc. There's words on a page. So there's different formats that this can take. And each one of those, I imagine, requires a different skill set. And so this is where, like, when you really get into the weeds of like, how do you build a business? It's like, okay. So I have maybe like on a scale of 1 to 10, my skills are a 3 out of 10 over here, a 7 out of 10 over here, and a 6 out of 10 over there. It's like, so which things do you focus on first? And so all this prioritization and then actually building the skill and then executing it, there's all these different sticking points. And so if you have someone who's already compiled all this together for you, it just makes so much sense to go through it that much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, some people value their money more than their time. And to each their own. Like if you're that person and you want to pinch every penny and you want to like, again, maybe it takes you 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't know, to figure out this, whatever the strategy is for you. I can't really fault that. It's just, it doesn't really align with my way of thinking of like, well, first of all, I think that the market will probably shift. I mean, with this AI coming out, my God, when AI first came out, then the growth and the change, it's just evolving so fast is sort of my point. And so with the market changing, are you going to even be able to learn fast enough to keep up with the market? Because you're just one person and other people are all building and iterating and working on things. So if you have a whole team that can get behind you, the speed thing makes a lot of sense. And I think if it saves you time, then ultimately, I think it saves you money too. I mean, putting aside opportunity cost, that's one, like how much money you could be making. There's that. But then also you can reinvest and like buy back your time. So there's all those things that we hope to get out of it for ourselves, but then to pay towards our clients. Can I go into a really like a golden nugget here? Because I know I've been talking. Okay. On a kind of meta level, one of the things that I'm really hoping to get out of this that I think you watching or listening right now will benefit from is on the content side of things. Ped and I both, I think it's fair to say, built our businesses largely not off of the back of content. I had no following, no social media strategy, like nothing when I got my first clients, even in my very first business, and rely on it at all.
You're flyering.
Yeah, I mean, I've been networking and selling since day one. In terms of scalability, though, and going more towards the 7 figures, or even if you don't want to get to that level, it's more just about the getting your time back, more leverage. We're looking for more leverage to add into our leverage accelerator. We'll be learning more about the most effective and efficient ways to structure content so that you can do more of the selling and marketing upfront that is on their own time, not on your time. So that's layer 1. Layer 2 is also seemingly a more effective way of nurturing, so you can warm people up. And as we go through that, we will be documenting us going through that. So not only do people watching us get nurtured and learn more about who we are and what we're about, but also we'll be sharing the lessons that we're learning in our content. So it kind of becomes this flywheel of like win, 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 however many wins are on there, of us winning and learning and sharing what we're winning and learning, and other people can listen to that and apply. And it just kind of like, it builds on itself.
Yeah. And what's it? I mean, as you're saying this, it's probably worth mentioning or clarifying. There's this weird, I guess, the imagery that comes to me is like Russian dolls. You know, there's like a big doll and a small doll. It's like it's the same. There's, like you said, we're paying it forward. So stuff that we're learning isn't necessarily going to look like the exact outer shell. We're going to adapt it for our avatar. So the Takimora's avatar is our business coaches, right? And Riley and I, despite being independent coaches, consultants, facilitators, and working with all sorts of organizations and individuals, like Riley shared at the beginning, we learned a thing or two about building a business. So we've kind of inadvertently become business coaches to the point where before we hit record, we were thinking about this next thing, which we hope to learn around how do we reposition ourselves through this program and not to, we don't know where we're going to be, but there might be a little bit of a full circle thing coming along where we might not just be business coaches, but we might be leaning more into some of the things that got us to where we are in the first place, bringing our uniqueness in there. Again, I'm being a little bit vague right now
I
because we
think we
haven't
can
made
just
it.
say, I
We're just
mean,
saying, I mean,
you,
so long as people don't hold us to this, because genuinely, we might
yeah,
not
well,
be
just,
at all.
I mean, even if it's not something we're positioned on, I think it's fair to say one of our skill sets and expertise is in systems and this system design. Wow, that is a tongue twister there for me. And I mean, all of the different strategies that we teach within our current program accelerator, like we systemize the shit out of it as much as we can. And I mean, I've given presentations on systems and system design. It's also what led to me becoming a chief operating officer. So when it comes to systems, I feel quite confident in that domain. And yeah, it's something we already do. It's more just about like what is the part of us that we highlight or reveal that is most beneficial to our client.
Yeah.
And I think I've come to a point where I've let go of any insecurity around asking for help.
Hmm.
And I would want that for our clients too. Like,
Yeah.
I think some of our best clients are willing to shout from the rooftops about the work that we've done together.
Yeah.
And to me, it takes no credit at all away from the work. Like, their success isn't our success. I'm happy they're successful, and I think that we can contribute to it, but they're the ones putting in the work, just like us joining this program. That's another thing that maybe it's not so much a lesson as it is just a sharing, like a vulnerability. I was telling Ped before we started recording this that I am a horrible celebrator. So as soon as we got in, it was like 1 second of like, hey, cool, we got it. We're going to learn so much. And then immediately my mind, being the systems thinker, goes straight into execution mode. I'm like, all right, pressure's on, got to do X, Y, Z. Like, how do, I just start implementing shit. And so for me, I actually feel more pressure, even though we're getting more help, because I want to be a good client. I want to role model for our
Yeah.
clients what
Yeah.
that looks like. And I think it's important to practice what you preach. And I don't think there's anything more authentic than having integrity. And the way I define integrity is closing the gap between what you say you'll do and what you actually do.
Hmm.
And so for me, the pressure comes from that value that I have that my dad beat into my head as a kid of like, your word is bond.
Hmm.
For me, integrity is such a huge value. And I think it shows up in business all the time. Anyone who's worked closely with us knows that we back up what we say, and we will hold, at the very least, ourselves accountable,
Hmm.
but more than that, our clients accountable because and actually, I think I heard Taki Moore say this as well. So I'm going to credit to him that you are responsible to your client, but not for your client.
Hmm. Yeah. I like that.
And so I'm responsible for my own actions, and I'm going to model them as best I can and give everything I can to our clients and to our business. And I mean, ultimately, it's like a world thing, no? It's like, what are you
Yes.
contributing to this world? Like, be your best self.
Exactly. The What's interesting is that you said that you had that, how do you describe it? Not anxiety, the
Pressure.
pressure. The pressure, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt the opposite. I felt relief. And partly because again, relating it to how we think about our clients and our best clients, right? The clients that we work with that make the biggest progress, they're the ones that say something like, I'm looking for some guidance and accountability. And that's ultimately what they want. And in a way, this is what we're looking for here, hence the be the client that you want to attract. But also the relief for me came because uh, just linking it back to the experiments that we've done, it's just the relief that I know that someone can look over our shoulder if we ask them, where did we go wrong? Or here's what we implemented based on this blueprint or roadmap or template. Obviously, everything has to be adapted for your own business. Help us refine it before we implement it. And then I can help us analyze what happened when we did implement it. That's the relief that I felt because I realized that learning cycle can be so much quicker given our work ethic.
So another lesson that I think we've already had as I reflect on this is that actually maybe we waited too long to apply and join this
Yeah.
kind of a program because we've both invested in programs and coaches and things like trainings in the past. But it's been a minute since I mean, there's been little things here and there that we've done, but to this extent,
Yeah.
we haven't committed to this extent in a while. And it's weird to say that because, Pat, it took me, I think, 7 years into business before I really invested more than just like, I don't know,
The odd thing
buying
here and there. Yeah.
something. Yeah. It's not really, I guess that's an investment, but into really investing in yourself and leveling up, it took me that long. And so to think that like we're talking more about months rather than years and decades here, it still feels like it might have been too long. So I think it's just so important to have that outside perspective because you can't see the woods through the trees or the
Mhm.
forest through the trees, whatever continent you're on, however you say that. It's it's just something I think you should just always have it. And
Yeah.
you just like you said, it just accelerates things so much faster. And I just when I think back to like my values personally, it just aligns so much because you only have one life. And it's
Yeah.
just like how much time are you burning
Yeah.
not
One thing which
to, you know?
we should have, this is when we're answering the question that of why did we do it, which is what we was like. We were talking about that within 5 minutes of this podcast. We're talking from a business perspective, but really, Riley, I know that we had personal reasons for it as well. I want to spend more time with Sami, my
Yeah.
8 month old.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, some people value their money more than their time. I value my time more than money, and this is an investment, a significant investment that we're making, but with the idea that it will help us make more money, have a better lifestyle, get to where we want to go quicker, and so we can help people as well. It's all interconnected, and maybe we're laboring, or maybe I'm laboring that point, but that's yeah, it's not
It's an
necessarily
important
like
point
one.
to
Yeah, go for it.
it's an important point to spend time on though, because I think it actually all starts with the helping people. And if if you're not helping people, then I don't think you're going to have a very successful business. And all the other things that are attached to it won't ever happen. And I think back to some of the, we've talked to hundreds. I mean, I don't know if it's 1,000. We'll have to add it up at some point. Hundreds of people who have or haven't worked with us. And there is a very clear distinction, I think, between people who just want to make a buck and they're just in scarcity mindset and they're like, oh, I need a client tomorrow. I'm like, I can't help you get a client tomorrow. Businesses are people helping people. And so that I think that it has to start there. And so if we were doing all this to just learn how to market and position ourselves as multi millionaires to like sell a dream to people online, I think there's plenty of that stuff that honestly, I think that stuff's been around and I think it's dying off. I
Mm.
don't actually think that those people are surviving in today's day and age. And and I think that's full circle another reason why. It's like we want to help people. I want to spend more time with, my wife and we also talk about starting a family and there's all these variables involved and I'll leave that part at that, but so conscious of time here. But that's that integrity thing. It's like it's all in alignment. And so it does feel right for us and hopefully for our clients, like our current clients and our future clients. And if you are one of our future clients and you're going back in time and watching this, hi and welcome and hope you're doing well. But I just think it'll be cool to show people the journey that we're on, and that's why we started this series, the behind the
Yeah,
scenes
exactly.
segment. So
Well,
on that
on that,
note,
we'll see you next time. Further.
see you next time on Change Champions podcast. Thanks for
Bye.
tuning in.
Bye bye.